Okay, food chain. What does food chain show? Yes, I want answer to this question, that what does food chain depict?
Relation between producer and consumer.
Okay, very good. Relation between producers and consumers. And or in other words, we can say, isn't it that it shows that who eats whom? In simple words, we can say that the food chain shows the relation that who eats whom. Now, what is the use? Why they do? Why we consume each other? Why we consume? Why the organism at the one tropic level consumes others of other tropic level? Why?
To maintain the balance
Balance of what? Which balance?
of nature.
Ecosystem.
Ecological balance. Okay, are you eating for just to maintain the ecological balance?
No,
Is your
also to satisfy our need.
which need? Which need?
Because
need
they
of
provide
energy.
them food and energy.
Yes, food provides them the energy. And what for we require this energy?
Carry out life processes.
Yes, to carry out the life processes we require energy. It is not we. We ka matlab hai each and every organism, each and every animal I am talking about. When I talk about we, I am not talking only about human. I am saying for each and every organism, each and every animal which is present on this planet Earth. You know, so these organism consumes, like the secondary is consumer by secondary is consumed by tertiary, but secondary consumes the primary consumer. All right. In turn, primary consumer consumes the producers. In order to fulfill the demand of energy, and we require energy to do the various life processes. That is why to do the process, to do all these life processes, we require energy, and for that energy, we depend on other trophic levels. Now, when these food chains are interlocked, are interlinked, then this food chain can be termed as food web. What it will be called as?
Food web.
Food web, right? The interlinked food chain where the top carnivorous animal is same means snake can eat the kingfisher. I think it is kingfisher only or some other. Snake can also eat the frog. Snake can eat the frog also. It is not necessary that snake can get its food from only one resource. So when these food chains are interlinked, then this interlinked food chain, where the top carnivorous animal may be the same, is called as food web. What it is called?
Food web.
Food web. All the food chain in a community, all the food chain in a community is in a network. That grass will be eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper will be eaten by frog, and frog in turn can eat the snakes. Alright? And snake are sometimes the top carnivore. Is it clear? So why these interlinked food chains are there? It gives them more efficiency. And if one of the source is not available to the consumer, it can depend on other source. Other source for the energy. right? So food webs which are interlinked provide an alternate pathway for the food resources, right? And it makes the ecosystem more stable. Now, if you try to analyze the food chains, if we try to analyze the food chain, let me show you. What is the maximum number of levels in the food chain that the food chain can sustain for?
5 or 6.
5.
5. 6 means 4 or 5, that's it. Now, question is that if you will try to analyze the grassland food chain, the pond food chain, or the ocean food chain, if you will try to analyze these, right? Now, from this you can see that the chain comprises of only 5 tropic levels. Now, the question is that why only 5 tropic level? Why not 6? Why not 7? Isn't it? Why do we require the small food chains? Now, the reason for it is that when the consumer consumes food, what is transferred? When the consumer consumes food, that is consume primary producer, consume secondary producer or tertiary. Through the food, what is transferred? Nutrient. हाँ, nutrients से क्या मिलता है? What they get from the out of nutrients? Yes, energy. Very good, very good. Now let me tell you why the food chain are just of 5 tropics, 5 steps only, because as there is a law which is known as 10% law. What is that known as? What is it known as?
10% law.
10% law. And as per 10% law, only 10% of energy will be transferred from one tropic level to another tropic. When the grasshopper will eat grass, only 10% of the available energy is transferred. Is it clear? 10% law?
Yes.
Or you require more explanation? Now I will be explaining it with the help of this. With the help of, I am going to explain you with the help of the board, but the board is there. Okay, I will be explaining it with the help of an example. Just actually the board is not there. Now, if the total amount of energy with producer is 2000 joule, as per 10%, how much will be transferred to the primary consumer, that is grasshopper? Come on, 10% of 2000, कितना होता है? How much is there? Yes, how much is the 10% of 2000?
200.
How much?
200.
200. So it means that when the grasshopper or even rat will consume the plant, only 200 joules, this is for example, will transfer from plant to the rat. Now when the same rat is eaten by snake, how much energy it will get? 10% of 200 कितना होता है?
20.
Very good, 20 joule. Now, if the eagle eats the snake, because eagle is the tertiary consumer, right? If it consumes the snake, how much energy will transfer?
Ma'am, 2 joule.
2 joule, right? and whosoever feeds on it, whosoever organism feeds on the tertiary consumer, will the energy be enough to sustain the life after tertiary consumer? Yes,
No, ma'am.
it will not be enough because as per 10% law, 20 joule ka the available energy to the fourth step will be how much? Because
0.2.
हाँ, तो फिफ्थ में तो कुछ रहेगा ही नहीं, एनर्जी बहुत कम हो जाएगी. It will have so lesser amount of energy that if the chain continues, it will have so less amount of energy that the life cannot sustain on this energy. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
If you require more explanation, I can. Yes, class. Have you been
No.
able to understand what is 10% law?
Yes, ma'am.
Because as per 10% law, only 10% of the available energy is transferred from one tropic level to another tropic level. Now, if only 10% of available energy is transferred, then where has that energy gone? 90% जो नहीं ट्रांसफर हुआ वो कहां चला गया? Is there anyone who can give me the answer? Yes. Just a moment, let me read their chat. Okay, no problem. Yes. Yes, class. I was asking you some question. Why no one is giving me the answer? I am waiting for the answer.
The energy will be back in nature.
What?
The energy would be back in nature.
The energy? Please write down in the chat. I will read the chat. Chat box I have not enabled. You can write in there your answer, so that I can be assured that you have understood the 10% law, that it is the only, we use that energy, 90% of energy is used in order to do the life processes. 90% of energy which is not transferred from one to another is used by organism himself to maintain the life process, and a lot of amount of energy is used by organism for walking, for locomotion from one place to going from one place to another place, right? Plus a lots and lots of energy is liberated in the form of heat to maintain the body temperature. So that is why this 90% is utilized, and only how much is transferred? Yes,
10% is transferred.
10% gets transferred from one tropic level to, and sun ka hum sirf the available energy, whatever is the energy available by given to us by the sun, we are only using 1% of that energy, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we are going to discuss about the another topic, that is biomagnification. But before I discuss about the biomagnification, I want to share a small, it's a real incident. It is not a story. It's a real incident which occurred in USA, the American state, Michigan. There is a famous lake in the state Michigan in America. And in and around that lake, there is a top carnivorous animal which lives in around that lake, and that is called as pelican. What is it called? Pelican. Now, what was the problem? That they observed that the population of pelican was decreasing. Population of pelican was, they observed this, that the population is decreasing on daily basis. Now they come, that everyone will find out that what happened, why the population is getting decreased. So they found a peculiar phenomenon, and that peculiar situation was that when the pelican was laying eggs, the shells were so brittle that the eggs used to get break up during the when the eggs was laid. Or even if the eggs were laid, right, but the shells were so brittle that when they touch the ground, they used to get. Then now the question is that if previously it was not happening, then there must be some change which is causing it. There must be some kind of disease that must be present, that must be prevailing among the pelicans. So that is why this kind of behavior was there. This kind of situation was there. So what they try to find out the reason. So they set up a research committee to find out the reason why such phenomena was happening. Why the pelicans are not laying their eggs the way they used to lay. So they came across this situation, they came across this finding, and they find out that way back, 10 years back, to kill all the mosquitoes, because it was a very beautiful lake and there were parks and so in those parks there were lots and lots of, and the forests were nearby. So in those forests and parks there were lots of mosquitoes which used to cause the malaria. So when the DDT, you know what is DDT? I'm not asking the name, but it's a pesticide which is used to kill the pest. So they sprayed DDT 10 years back in and around the forest of Lake Michigan. What happened to this DDT? That along with the water, it flushed into the, along with the rainwater, it flushed into this lake, right? So it entered, so the pesticide entered into the food chain. Which food chain? The pond food chain. Let me show you. In the pond food chain, there is the presence of algae, the microscopic plants, right? If we talk about the pond food chain, you can see that there is the microscopic plant algae available, which can be eaten by the zooplanktons. Zooplanktons means which are very, which can be eaten by the mosquito. Zooplanktons are the one like this. What is that? That is this amoeba, the microscopic animal. And phytoplanktons mean the microorganism grass. Microorganism crop. या क्रॉप नहीं, हम उसको कहेंगे माइक्रोस्कोपिक प्लांट, which can be visible only under microscope. Like algae is phytoplankton, it was eaten by zooplankton, and zooplankton was eaten by the fish, and fishes were in turn eaten by this pelican, right? So what they found, that at every tropic level, the amount of pesticide was multiplied. Means it increased phenomenally at every tropic level. Like what happens in case of energy? does it increase or decrease?
Decrease.
But the pesticides was progressively increasing at every moment, at every tropic level. It was increasing. So they said that because in order to fulfill the demand of energy, this mosquito larva or grasshopper has to consume more and more amount of plants to survive, right? Because their demand of energy. So available energy is very less. So at that time, they have to consume more and more organism. Consuming more and more organism increases the level of pesticide in the body of an organism. Okay. So that is why at every tropic level, the pesticide was what? At every tropic level, what happened to the pesticide?
It increased.
It increased. Because in order to sustain, can deer consume, can tiger consume only one deer for the whole lifetime?
No.
No. It has to consume at least 100 deer in the whole lifetime, in the complete lifetime, or more than that. So by increasing the number of intake of the organism, the pesticide increases at every tropic level, and this is what we call as biomagnification. This is what is called as
Biomagnification.
all right. Okay.